back after a long break. I'm back with Jaden and Layla. How are you guys doing today?
Good, very, very good. I spent the last 3 months training to become a monk, so that's why I was MIA. But other than that, I'm happy to be back and happy to get into this plethora of things that we missed over our time.
I'm excited to be back. I've actually been on like a really long honeymoon with my husband, Pedro. We had a really great time. We toured Europe, so that's why I've been gone for so long. But I'm very excited to be back now.
And much like them, we're all excited to be back. I unfortunately was abducted by aliens and had to learn a new language before they let me come home. Thanks to my savior, Taylor Swift, I was able to show them folklore, and they were like, "Oh, you deserve to live." So they sent me back, and we're back, and we've missed a lot of stuff, and we're gonna get into a lot of that. But before we get do that, we have a giveaway to run. We have these beautiful Taylor Swift Eras Tour posters. We have a couple of them, and we're going to be giving some of them away. We're going to drop a code word some point in the episode, so stay tuned. When you get that code word, DM us on either Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you can DM us with that code word, and you'll automatically be entered. So definitely keep your ears open for that. But something that has had all of our eyes locked onto it has been Loki season 2. Jaden, let's get into it.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Loki is one of my favorite characters, kind of along with Moon Knight and Daredevil. But Loki, kind of introduced to him through the MCU. His character is honestly so freaking cool. And so this series was honestly one of the coolest things that the MCU has honestly ever put out, in my opinion. It was so much fun, such a wild ride. And honestly, it's one of those things that like paid off so much in terms of like what it means for the MCU, what it means for his character, what it means for other characters. And so we're just going to get right into the spoiler reactions. I'm probably just going to talk for the most part about the finale because we have the whole series, and I'll probably touch on a couple of different details throughout the series as a whole. But for the most part, we're going to kind of focus on the finale and the amazing, crazy implications that this has moving forward. But yeah, so Loki kind of ends up being the He Who Remains of the multiverse now. It seems like he's going to be the one kind of calling the shots, and that's freaking huge. It almost kind of seems like they're really trying to write out Kang, which honestly, given the way Loki ended, I'm pretty sure like they did it pretty well. I think the TVA for the most part is just going to kind of try to eliminate the Kang threat. And, if something, isn't looking too right, they're going to be on that shit in a second. And that's crazy. CJ, what did you think about that ending?
The ending was it was perfect. I didn't really have any complaints with it. I think even outside of like the implications for the MCU and how they handled Kang and how the God of Stories Loki came to be, I think just like the emotional character driven moments were fantastic. Mobius going back to Cleveland, Ohio represent, and just showing up, and that emotional moment with him and Sylvie talking about they wish Loki was here, and then Loki turning out watching it was just brings a tear to anyone's eyes. It was so good, and everything I had, because the first season of Loki I liked, but it wasn't like my favorite thing in the planet. Everything I didn't really like about the first season, they just completely fixed it in the second season for me. I really didn't have very many complaints. I thought Sylvie's character was so much better this season than it was last season's too. I really, really enjoyed Sylvie this season. I think she stayed true to her character. Everything she said made sense to what we know Sylvie as, and I can really respect that. And Kihei Kwan came into the show with heart, and he really delivered. That man has become one of my favorite people on the planet. If he's in something, I'm gonna watch it, and I know that man's gonna make me cry. I think it was episode 5 when he couldn't get his books on the shelf of the bookstore, and I was just like, oh, they
Yeah.
always do this to me with this man. They make me love him so much, and he's just always so optimistic. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's definitely like probably one of my top favorite actors, and not just because of his acting ability, but just kind of the person that he is, even just in real life. Like I just love watching him, all the clips and stuff. When he posted like the after the strike was finally over, and actors were finally able to promote their projects and stuff. He posted a little reel of him saying, "Oh, thank you so much for watching Loki. Like, oh, it was such a great experience," and it literally was just so wholesome. Layla, what did you think about the series?
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. It's definitely not one of my favorite things, which I've been very vocal about. I didn't really enjoy season 1. I had quite a few issues with it. Season 2 was way better in the way that I'm comparing season 1 and season 2. I think I became a lot more aware and attached to the characters in season 2 than I was previously. I think the finale really brought it back for me. Like just the ending and like we've said, the implications that it has for the future of the MCU. Really, like they're doing good with their cliffhangers at the minute at Marvel, and I'm excited to see like where this goes next. Ouroboros, oh my god, I love that man. I and just like the seeing the backgrounds to all of these characters, seeing them in their respective timelines and like living their normal lives was my favorite part of the whole season. Seeing Mobius with his kids, seeing Obi with his books in the shop, and B15 being a nurse, like all of these things was just so
B15
like
is so
cool to see.
iconic.
She was one of my favorite parts of the season, to be honest. Um, and yeah, it was really great seeing that. And we got what we wanted. We got Mobius on a jet ski. Like that is the one thing that if I didn't see in this season, I would have just been so annoyed because they teased it, but they delivered. So yeah, I enjoyed this season a lot more than the first one. Still not one of my favorite things, but I really enjoyed it.
With Mobius on the jet skis, though, with him being in Cleveland, he's definitely riding those jet skis on Lake Erie. And if you know anything about Lake Erie, that is not a place you want to be riding jet skis. So, Mobius, please, for the love of all of us, please take your jet skis to somewhere where it's a little bit healthier to do so.
That's so funny. Yeah, the next step is seeing Mobius actually ride a jet ski on the freaking water.
Yeah.
It's like season 1 was the idea. Season 2, we got one step closer, and now anything moving forward with Mobius, we need to see him on that damn jet ski. But yeah, this series was a lot of fun. I am kind of different from you guys. I really enjoyed the season 1, and then season 2 was like even better than that. And then with Sylvie, I despised her character. She was so
What?
annoying. Like season 1,
Same.
I enjoyed like the weirdness of that relationship between her and Loki. I know it was a super complex thing. It was a very weird narcissistic kind of vibe there, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. But no, I swear. But then season 2, dude, I could have done with literally no Sylvie at all. It would have been perfect. She did nothing. There was nothing for her character to do except for talk about why she did what she did and then be selfish when it came to saving other worlds and other universes. It's like this is terrible. I don't want her character anymore. And if this
I
is how
feel
it's
like
going to
I don't think
be,
she was selfish. I'm turning into a Sylvie defender here, so bear with me.
no.
But
Don't you dare.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
no, she was. I feel like she was more selfless than Loki. Like Loki was definitely selfish when he was trying to like reunite everyone. He's just like, I want to fix the TVA. Where Sylvie kind of the entire time was, no, the TVA doesn't need to exist because all the other universes need to slide. But she didn't know what was going to happen with like the loom and how the other universes would dissolve if the TVA wasn't like fixed or whatever. But from her viewpoint, I feel like she was being selfish. She was fighting for the trillions of people in the world who didn't have free will. So Sylvie, if no one else got your back, I do, girl. I'm here.
I
You
will
switched
never
up
have her
so
back.
fast from season 1, CJ.
I know. I think it was the haircut and the working at McDonald's. I think that did it for me.
It was the bangs. It was the
Uh-uh.
bangs.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, I could definitely do without her character. But as far as where we're gonna see these characters potentially pop up in the future of the MCU, I with you know Destin Daniel Cretton kind of pulling out of Avengers 5 and the writer from Quantumania also being dropped from the movie, it's looking like they're kind of switching gears in terms of what Avengers 5 is going to be. So I don't know if we're going to see Loki. I really hope we do. I hope, there's that
Oh,
Thor and
we'll
Loki.
definitely see
Hope there's
Loki.
that
Yeah.
Thor and
Yeah.
Loki reunion at some point.
Oh my god.
You
Dude,
know,
I
you
would
know,
literally
Loki's
cry.
gonna be. You know, he's gonna be looking through those timelines, seeing
Oh
what
yeah,
Thor's doing.
of
You
course.
know, he
Oh.
will.
Of course. And I think Thor Loki knows that he's going to come back at some point, some way, somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was honestly a really great series. And if you guys don't have anything else left to say, I'm gonna pass it over to
I
Layla.
do wanna I
Go
do
ahead.
wanna
Yeah, yeah,
talk
go ahead.
about a future little bit of whether we see, like, Mobius, Sylvie, B-15, Ravonna, and them again, because this really did feel like
Yeah,
a closed chapter on the TVA, but with the rumor mill flowing, it seems like we might see some of them in Deadpool 3, which I would love to
yeah,
see. I don't think we'll get Mobius or Sylvie in Deadpool 3, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility we get, like, a B-15 or an Ouroboros or maybe even
mhm.
X5 because Brad Wolf, I low key love Brad Wolf in the show. I thought his
I
character was
really
super
liked his
cool,
character.
and I want to learn more. Now he was a dick, like 100% he was a
Oh, yeah,
dick, but he's like one of those dicks where I want to learn like more about. Like I'm kind
yeah.
of intrigued by his character and I want to see more. But for Sylvie and Mobius, I honestly have no idea when we see them again or if we see them again. I feel like personally, I think Sylvie's probably more likely than Mobius, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I think Sylvie needs a new home. Maybe that new home happens to be 616 for some reason, and she takes home there, and we see her meet up with the Avengers. I don't think you're introducing a character like Sylvie and giving her so much attention in the series if you don't have plans for her later in the show. Whereas Mobius, because Sylvius didn't really feel like a closed book. Mobius still felt like they closed the chapter pretty good on Mobius. Like we never saw Mobius again.
Mhm.
It would kind of make sense. So I really hope we get more Mobius because Owen Wilson is fantastic, and I want to see him and Loki on screen together just one more time, if that's all it is. But I'm really curious to see what the future of those characters are.
I think with like these major events coming up, it would kind of make sense to get Mobius back as like a background player where he's like he knows the TVA so well, he understands how that
Mm,
kind of world works. And so if they need his help with, the TVA and stuff like that, I think they're going to call him in, but I don't think we're going to see him in like a major, role like we kind of did in the series.
Agreed. But I
But
agree with
yeah.
you too on this. I think Kang's done.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
oh, yeah, for
I
sure.
think he's been written off. I think it's still possible we get him recasted way down the line. I think it'll be years from now.
Mhm.
Maybe before Secret Wars, maybe, but I don't really think so. I think Loki kind of was a closed book on it, which kind of sucks because the ending of Quantum Mania set up something that we're just not going to get. But
Yeah.
we can all forget Quantum Mania exists. I'm down for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. And, like, there's been so many rumors online, like, saying that Kang has been written out of Kang Dynasty and it's not gonna be that anymore. Obviously, nothing's confirmed, like, they haven't said
Yeah,
anything, but I think when we find out, will probably be, like, either the next San Diego Comic Con or one very close after that. I think there'll be a huge
yeah.
panel because we've only got Deadpool 3 next year, like, movie-wise, so I think they're just gonna start at Comic Con and just relay everything, replan everything, change whatever they need to change, and get that all out then.
And I do think with Loki, they did a pretty good job where they really left themselves open to any possibility. If they do decide they
Yeah,
still want to go the Kang route, they still can 100%. But if they wanted to go maybe a different route for Avengers 5, like I know our friend Damon and me were talking about Avengers Time Runs Out, which is a really good comic run if you haven't read it. I think that would be really, really fun. I think they could do a lot of cool work with that. And there's just so many opportunities and possibilities to change um, how we get to Secret Wars, with Secret Wars still being the end destination.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of possibility, and like you said, the flexibility there to kind of move in whatever direction that seems fit. I'm definitely
mhm.
very excited about, especially with all of the delays, and now everybody's kind of getting back to work and on production on these things. So I'm very excited to see where this all kind of ends up. But yeah, if that's all, I'll pass it over to Layla, who is going to do our Swifty check.
Oh, we have had a full time of news and events and releases in this time that we've been gone. We've got 1989 Taylor's version. We've had more shows of the Eras tour. We've got Travis Kelsey in the mix, which there's just a whole conversation about that. We've had the movie. I don't know if I said that. There is so much we need to unpack right now. We'll start with 1989 Taylor's version. We got this almost a month ago now, which has flown by. I think it's been like 3 weeks today, maybe even, which is just insane. CJ, I'll start with you. Jaden, I don't know if you've listened to it or not. I don't know how deep into your Swiftie era you are, but CJ, tell me your thoughts on 1989. We listened to it for the first time together. We went straight for the vault tracks. What's your favorite vault track? What's your favorite re-recorded song? Give me everything.
So with 1989, I love it a lot. I think for me, the vault tracks have kind of not aged phenomenally for me. I still like them, but they're not like, I don't think it's my favorite vault. But there is a song in the
No.
vault that might be my favorite vault song, and that is Slut.
Slut.
Fuck, I listen to that song so much when I'm walking in the. It's raining today outside. The first thing I was like, walking in the rain, nice chill vibes. Put Slut in my ears. That song is so fun. It's definitely not what I was expecting Slut to be
No.
at all. I was expecting it to be either really sad or really angry, and it's kind of just like a nice chill beat. I really love it. So, love to Slut. I love you so much. But one thing I want to talk about these vault songs too. Harry Styles got dragged like big time. Taylor took out her pen and is like, I'm ending this man's career so bad that he shaved his head. And he did.
Oh no.
So,
you grew your hair long. Never mind.
You heard that line. He was like, I can't. Hair holds memories. Shave it.
Yeah,
but in terms of
she
my
got
favorite,
him good.
Yeah, she got him good. But in terms of my favorite re-record, I'm always gonna be a sucker for "You Are in Love." That song hits always. This is an unpopular opinion, but I kind of really like the new version of Style. I know it's been mixed,
Me too.
but I kind of like it a little bit better. And "Shake It Off" also sounds so good. It sounds so good, and that's one I wasn't expecting to change much at all, but I really like it.
Jaden, have you listened to 1989 at all?
I listened to a few of them with Gabrielle. But I will say 1989 was I think one of my top 3 albums of Taylor Swift's, and so yeah, I enjoyed him. I really had fun, of course.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Taylor's version. Like I said, me and CJ listened to it for the first time together. It was like 5 a.m. my time, I think, and I was at Comic Con the next day. So that was a long weekend for me, but it was great. As I said, we went straight for the vault tracks. I think my favorite vault track is It Over Now? I will listen to that on repeat. Like that's the one. But recently, you know, in the last couple of days, I've had Suburban Legends on repeat.
I like Suburban Legends has grown on me so much.
Yeah, which at the start it was my least favorite vault track. Like it was the one that didn't hit with me the most. But now in the last couple of days, I've had it on repeat. Like it's really gone up in my ranking. Like I love that song, and obviously the rest of them are great too. My favorite re-recorded song is probably New Romantics, which was my favorite song anyway. But like you said, honestly, Shake It Off, sometimes I skipped it because it's one of those Taylor songs that was just such a big part of everyone's life. Like when you hear it, it's just like, oh, Shake It Off. I will never skip that song again as long as it's Taylor's version. It sounds so good. I love it. Like that, I will play that now.
The biggest surprise for me of 2023 was re-falling in love with Shake It Off. Because before the Eras tour, like every time Shake It Off came in social, it was like usually an immediate skip. Because just when I was like 10 years old, that's the only song that was ever on the radio, it felt like. So I feel like it got a little overplayed. But then I was sitting at Paycor Stadium on July 1st at the Eras tour, listening to Shake It Off, and I was like, wait, this is fucking good. And then I've just fallen in love with it since. And I have a picture I want to show from me and Layla's reaction. This was me listening to the album. So,
we were having a rough time, okay?
I would go from looking like that to like literally like fucking twerking next to my bed listening to this album. Like it was an experience.
Yeah, it was great. Well, carrying on the Taylor train, we've had the Eras Tour movie, which broke so many records. It beat No Way Home in like pre-sales or something like that. It beat it in something, which is insane. Like Taylor Swift honestly holds the most power in every industry in existence. The movie's great. It made me love eras in the tour more than I would have like expected to love them. Like, Folklore is my favorite album, but that was not my favorite part of the
Agreed.
movie. It was a different era. CJ, what did you think of it?
I loved the movie, and so I've been to tour. So going to
Mhm.
tour and going to the movie, I thought would be just like a very similar, but honestly, it's so different because from your tour, you're obviously subjective the view from your seat. But at the movie, they
Yeah.
really showcase the production, the dances, the performance, and that was really, really cool to see. It was very magical, and I'm with you. Folklore will forever be my favorite era, my favorite album. But in the tour, it was not actually my favorite era that she performed.
Mhm.
I think either Evermore or Red probably takes that title for me. I think both of those sets were fantastic. And also, Midnight set is really, really good too. So
Yeah.
I love watching the movie. Even if you're not like the biggest Swiftie, I would go see the movie. You might find some new songs you might like. You might rediscover a love for Taylor Swift that once existed. I know our friend Emma went and she really
I
loved
was
it.
just
And
gonna
she's not
bring
the
up
biggest
Emma.
Swiftie ever. Like it's a really good time. And it's long, but because the whole entire concert, but it really flies by and you're having a good time. I actually saw it at a
Mhm.
drive-in, and that was really, really cool because everyone was outside their cars dancing and singing, and it was really, really fun. And the vibes in the theater are just great. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, it
I
was a
I will
great
just
one.
add I will just add the amount of people that I've talked to just about any movie. One of the recent examples is Killers of the Flower Moon. They're both
Mhm.
pretty similar in length, and so I was talking to someone about the movie. I was like, "Oh, what did you think of Killers of the Flower Moon?" He was like, "Dude, it was good, but I think in the theater next to me they were playing the Eras Tour movie because I could not hear shit. They were so loud." I was like, "Dude, you're probably right. You're probably fucking right."
Swifties
Swifties are
do it better.
crazy.
They do it better. Also, we don't have a segment for this, but Killers of the Flower Moon is really, really good. You should definitely check it out. It's great representation of indigenous culture. Go watch it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I haven't seen it, but I definitely should check it out. Um, Carrying on the Taylor Swift train, Travis Kelce. What a man. I
Where
want
did
myself
this
a
come
Travis Kelce.
from? This
I want
came from
myself
Travis Kelce had a friendship bracelet in a dream, and he took
a
it
dream.
all the way. Like, okay, one day I woke up to some random Swifty account on my phone talking about Travis Kelce, talking about a friendship bracelet, and then all of a sudden it's getting
Yeah.
hinted at on this podcast, and then all of a sudden they're spotted out together, and then all of a sudden they're on Saturday Night Live, hard launching their relationship. It's just like,
Yeah.
what is
Proof that
going
being
on?
Delulu works.
Exactly. I love them together so much.
Yeah.
They are adorable. Travis Kelce actually went to the college I currently attend. So this is the closest connection I have to Taylor Swift. Travis, please bring her here. She needs to see where you went to school, clearly, and just not for selfish reasons. But I am just in shock by this. I hate the Chiefs. Let me tell you, I'm a big Bengals fan. The Chiefs are like the top of my hatred list. But when Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce, suddenly Travis Kelce is one of my favorite football players. So I am all for it.
Yeah. I love
I
them together.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I feel like I see a lot of people talk about, oh, more people are talking about their relationship than they are actually talking about football. Those NFL meatheads talking about that shit. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. I enjoy seeing all the memes and all the pictures and all the videos. I think it's just a lot of fun, and I think Taylor is having a lot of fun. And honestly, that's what matters. Especially because in the past she's had some pretty shit boyfriends, and so I think Travis might actually be a pretty fucking keeper, and so
Let's
that's
hope.
fun. Yeah,
Let's
I
hope.
know. I fingers fucking crossed, but I'm excited for that for sure.
Yeah. Also in my brain, I was like, is it bad that I'm thinking about the love song she's gonna write about him? Like, we're
Oh,
gonna get
yes.
Lover on crack is what we're gonna
Yeah,
get
because she's
eventually.
down bad. Like, she
She
is
is,
in love with this man. When she sung
yeah.
Labor at the Argentina shows, I was like, with him there in attendance, I'm like, girl, you are crazy.
Yeah.
That was, oh. And then, and then the next night,
Oh,
Karma is the guy on the Chiefs. That would be your code word if you're in the giveaway. But she said that in front of him, and his reaction was just,
I know.
and he was talking about it on his podcast. He actually said he knew it was coming, but when he heard it, it still really surprised him. So
Yeah.
that she actually went through with it. They're both just so cute. if you haven't listened to his podcast too, Swifties, he talks about
Yeah.
it. Like he talks about it a decent amount. So definitely check it out if you're interested on their relationship. And also Jason Kelsey is really funny and he's really good at poking into Travis's
I
nut
love
about it too.
Jason.
Like he will poke into it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Karma is the guy on the Chiefs is your giveaway code word. Be sure to DM us that on any way you can. And yeah, that will wrap up our Swifty check. So, CJ, I know there's something really big you want to talk about next. Take it away.
Yeah, this has been a pretty good week for me. I'm not gonna lie. As a Taylor Swift stan, we got the Argentina shows. And then as your resident Glenn Powell stan, we have had a week. We first, I think it was Tuesday morning, Glenn posts pictures from his Men's Health magazine. And I was in class struggling to breathe. Like any words the professor was saying was not getting into my brain because I was too busy looking at these Glenn Powell pics. And then the next morning, he drops his ass, which, whoa, that took me for a ride. Like, woo, woo, woo. And the next day, Anyone But You trailer. And I'm just like, I can't keep up. Like, I'm not going to be alive by the end of the week. Which the movie looks really, really good. It's like an enemies to lovers type rom com. And his and Sydney's tension and just like connection they have is really, it looks really strong. And I'm very excited. Two hot people being hot. I love it. And also Glenn's ass
Yeah.
is in the trailer again. We're thriving. Layla, what did you think of the trailer?
Enemies to lovers and fake dating are two of my favorite tropes in any fan fiction. So bringing this into a movie with two very, very hot people is gonna be a dream. Win for the buys. I'm very excited for it. Damon said something very interesting yesterday. Like he was like, "Is it gonna be another Ghosted, the Chris Evans and Ana de Armas movie?" I don't care if it is. I enjoyed Ghosted. Silly little
Yeah.
films like that, I love. Like rom coms like that, I am obsessed with. So I think I'm really, really, really gonna enjoy this movie. And yeah, if you haven't seen Glenn's Men's Health pics, just brace yourself before you Google that.
Grab some
Yeah,
water. Grab some water
yeah,
before you look them
and
up.
be
You're gonna
sitting down maybe.
yeah. Maybe in the comfort
Jaden,
of
what
your
did
own
you think?
too.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and kind of like that the point you made with Ghosted. I really love that movie. It's goofy, it's silly, it's gonna be fun. I am like sort of in love with Sydney Sweeney. So this is
yeah.
gonna
Who
be a lot of
isn't?
fun for me, absolutely. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I just want to talk about the day that CJ found those pictures. He was sending them in chat like fucking rockets, dude. He was like, and this one, and this one, and this one. I was like, dude, he's so down bad right now.
Dude, all of my friends from my school woke up to like a million texts. Like I know my friend Jacob, I texted him like 15 times about the Men's Health. And then I texted him again when the ass pic dropped. And then I texted him again like 15 times when the trailer dropped. So it's not just y'all getting these texts. Like everyone on my phone is knowing about these Glenn Powell pictures just as much as I will. I want to frame every single one of them and put them on my wall.
Also, my favorite thing about the whole situation was what he tweeted, and he was like, "I just took my pants off and tried to bury this picture." Which is, if you haven't
the
seen it, it's
capybara.
the picture that everyone says he looks like a capybara, and that is like the funniest thing I have ever read on that app. I was crying.
Also, with the Men's Health, he posted an article about his love life, which was really, really interesting to read. And he also had a 10-minute video about like his fitness and his daily routine. He talked about how he ate 40 ribs in one sitting and still looks like that. And I was just like, huh?
You need
If I
to
did
eat more.
that, I'd be like dead for a week. So, power to you, Glenn Powell, the best man on the earth, the best man in the universe, my hero, my savior, Glenn Powell. I love you. But moving on from the best segment of the week, we are going to move on to Layla's best segment of the week. Layla, take it away.
Speaking about men who are Lord and Savior and favorite people on the earth, there was a very, very, very interesting news story circulating a couple days ago, which has absolutely ruined my life. Anyways, Pedro Pascal is apparently in talks to be playing Reed fucking Richards in the Fantastic fucking Four. Okay, I have no idea how many different lives I lived in that first hour of that news dropping. There was like I must say I tweeted once every one tweet a minute. The first tweet, oh my god, this is the best day of my life. I love it here. Marvel is saved. Best idea they've ever had. The next minute, do not sign it. Please do not join Marvel. This is the worst day of my life. Do not do it. Back to, oh my god, I love it here. I could not make my mind up if this was a good decision or not. And it's not because of Pedro. It's because of the Marvel fandom. I'm terrified of them. Like, if they cast him like for sure, they're gonna rip him to shreds because there have been so many fan casts for the Fantastic Four, like probably more than any other character that's joining the MCU. The Fantastic Four have just been fan casted into oblivion, and Pedro's name was never brought up. So for them to just pull his name out of thin air and throw him to this role, if he does sign, just seems so sus to me for some reason. Obviously, I would fucking die to see Pedro on my screen in a Marvel movie. I just don't think it would be as Reed Richards if I could pick. It's just so like random to me, and there was so much like so many people arguing like this is the best idea ever, this is the worst idea ever. What are your guys' thoughts on it, Jaden? How did you think? How did you like react to this news when it dropped?
Well, I am also a major Pedro Pascal stan, and so when I first found out that he was potentially playing Reed Richards, I actually almost
Yeah.
fucking threw. I was eating at the time, and I was like, "What the fuck? There's no way." I was like, "Great, another fan cast," but then more reports started rolling in about like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is real shit right now." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
The only thing that I can think is if they're gonna do like a Secret Wars like darker version of the Fantastic Four, I think just strictly looking at his performance in The Last of Us and kind of that dark, gritty feel to like his acting and his performance, I think they can get away with it. I think they'll be able to get
Yeah.
away with that darker version of Reed Richards and also making him Hispanic the best thing that could have ever happened. I think that's gonna be so fun. I can't wait for like his little Hispanic little quips and saying things in Spanish. I think that's gonna be really fucking
Yeah.
cool. But no, this is really great news. One thing that's not great though are some of the edits that I've seen people put on social media. They look crazy. People, you should stop. You should stop.
Some of them are good. Some of
Some of them are
them
good. Yeah,
make
some of
me
them are
like
pretty good.
some of them have actually made me like scream into my pillow because
Mhm.
I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, this could be real. But some of them I'm just like, please remove that from my
Right.
memory right
Yeah.
now.
I really like the casting, to be honest. I think it could be
Yeah.
really, really fun. And the other names that have been swirling around for the other cast members, Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal as an
Oh my
on-screen
god.
couple,
I
would
would
be the end
die.
of me. But I'm with what you said, Layla. I am ready for these fan castings to end. This feels like it's been going on
Yeah.
for a millennium with the Fantastic Four. And honestly, I don't want to hear another thing about the Fantastic Four until we have a cast officially announced by Marvel at like a San Diego Comic Con. Because I'm
Mhm.
exhausted. And all this has done is made me terrified for when we get close to the X-Men like being cast in the MCU. Because that's gonna be even worse, I feel like. I feel like that will
Yeah.
be just as bad as this. But I am hoping, and I am still riding the Glenn Powell for Johnny Storm train until the rails come
Yeah.
off the track. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal, Glenn Powell, and someone else a thing. It's gonna be the best Fantastic Four. Me and Layla are gonna die watching it together in a theater. We're gonna melt into our seats, and it's gonna be the best hours of our
If that happens and Glen Palace has, I am booking my flights for opening day immediately because we would
life.
just like we would need a whole cinema screen because we would just
Yeah.
get kicked out. I fear.
Like that would be the peak of our life. Like
Yeah.
everything we have ever worked for culminates at that moment. And imagine Taylor Swift somehow makes a cameo in the movie and then we're
Stop.
just dead.
Stop.
And then we're
Dazzler
just
rocks up in Fantastic Four.
dead. That would be
Uh
fucking wild.
yeah.
But another movie
Yeah.
that's a lot sooner than the Fantastic Four is the Hunger Games that released the Ballad of
Mhm.
Songbirds and Snakes that releases this weekend. This week, I just recently finished watching the Hunger Games movies for the first time. They ate, and I love Rachel Zegler, so I'm very, very excited to see this movie. Jaden, what do you think of it?
I'm very excited. I haven't seen any of the Hunger Games movies in so long. But I remember how I felt watching them even years ago, and it was some of the best movie experiences that I've had in my life. And so, being that they're bringing it back and kind of going back even further than the movies were set, this is gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be so fun to just like learn more about the characters that I loved in the previous movies. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, because I have 2 older sisters, one of them was really into reading, and The Hunger Games were, like, some of the first, like, young adult fiction books she read, I guess, and I read them pretty soon after, and then I remember watching all the films. I remember going to see The Mockingjay Part 2, I don't know if I saw any of the others in theaters, but they were those films that made such an impact, like, when I was younger. It was the same with it was the Hunger Games and the Divergent films that really, really stuck with me from when I was younger, like, that kind of theme of film, I don't know how I would describe it, but that kind
Dystopian
of
teenage
dystopia,
young
that
adult
was the word.
movies. Maze Runner fits in that category too. Like
I
that
yeah,
era
Maze
from the
Runner too.
2010s was like heavenly. Like bring
Yeah,
it back.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were the ones that stuck with me the most, so like, even when the book of Ballad and Songbirds and Snakes got released, I was like, "Oh my god," like, the possibility of this even being made into a film is killing me off right now, like, the fact that we can relive the Hunger Games era in this day and age is just beautiful to me, and I'm so excited to see it. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is how attractive they've made a young President
I
Snow. I
know.
feel like there's
Yeah.
gonna be some real issues for me there, but I'll just have to get over
The cast is really stacked. You got Viola Davis, you got Peter Dinklage, Hunter
it. And to
Schafer,
Shay,
Rachel
yeah,
Ziegler, Tom Blythe. Like it is a stacked cast, and I know
yeah,
it's probably gonna deliver. So I'm very excited to watch it.
yeah.
But following that, obviously, we got quite a few trailers over the last couple or last few days, I should say, along with the Fantastic Four news. But I'll start with this one. We got What If Season 2, which already looks miles better than Season 1. And just based off of what I saw on the trailer, there's a few people that come back, like Supreme Strange, Captain Carter, Killmonger, Gamora, and Iron Man that we didn't really dive into their story yet. It looks like we're getting an Iron Man and Gamora like Mario Kart type shit, and that looks pretty cool. We're seeing a lot of like major villains come back, like Hela and Thanos. Um, we got Shang-Chi back with his dragon as well. And there's just a lot going on in this. I could go here and name this whole freaking list, but it looks like there's a lot going on, and it's gonna be super exciting. I was someone with season one that actually enjoyed it a little bit more than most people. And so going into season two, I feel like this is just gonna even crack the multiverse wider, even wider than it already was. And so it's going to be super cool just to see these different scenarios kind of unfold. It's coming out during Christmas time, so there's a couple of like Christmas themed episodes, which is going to be super cool. And yeah, CJ, what did you think about the trailer?
I think it looked really cool. There's a couple moments that like stuck out to me. One of them is it looks like we're at the Battle of Wakanda for one of the scenes from Infinity
Mm,
War with Steve in that look and Thanos being there. And based off the episode titles we've seen, I'm really curious which one that comes from. Because it doesn't seem like there's a clear one. So there's a lot of intrigue with what if this season that wasn't really there last season for me. And especially with the MCU itself exploring more multiverse stories now, when there's some narratives from the MCU will be tied into What If as well. Especially with like Supreme Strange and the Watcher's characters. Also, Stan Jeffrey Wright. I love Jeffrey Wright. I'm so excited that he's
yes,
back as a Watcher. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the thing that excites me most about this season is they're actually introducing a brand new character. I don't even believe she has comics like about her, but Kahori, I
no,
think is how you pronounce it.
yeah,
Looks She looks so badass. I'm very excited to see it. More indigenous representation is something I will always, always be more excited for because that's something that's hardly ever touched. And with Killers of the Flower Moon coming out and now this Hero and Prey last year, it's starting to pick up. And I'm very, very excited about that. And that episode is something I'm very excited for.
She also looks very OP. She looks
Yeah,
so
she
cool.
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought What If season 1 was really fun. Like, I remember being excited about it releasing week to week and, like, getting to revisit some characters. Like, I remember I was so excited that Darcy Lewis was coming back in What If because I love her character. It was just, like, little things like that that you didn't think would ever be revisited that were being revisited, and I really enjoyed it. Then it kind of fell off for me. New things just kept coming out, and it slowly went to the bottom of my list of things that were newly released from Marvel. But the season 2 trailer looks really great. I think there was one clip that had me really like, what is this storyline going to be? And it was the Winter Soldier, Hank Pym, and what looked like Marvel from the first Captain Marvel film, like driving something, flying something. I don't know. Like that's just so like weird. Like the character combinations that are being fitted into this season are like, where did you even get this idea from? One thing I'm really intrigued about is the daily release format that
Yeah.
it's following. Like, there's going to be one episode a day rather than like all dropping at once or weekly. I think that's a really good experiment for Marvel to have. Obviously, they're not going to do that with like the bigger shows, but after seeing what's going on with Echo, like all of them dropping at once, I think this is a new format that they can test out for shows that they're not as confident about that can release like that. And I think it's going to be interesting to see like how many people, stick to it daily, or if they just wait for it all to be released and binge. Do you guys think you're going to watch it like daily as it comes out, or do you think you're going to wait for a binge?
I'll probably watch it daily, especially that's
Yeah.
because that's like Christmas time. So at least something I'll have a lot of
Yeah.
free time around then too. So I could definitely find time to watch an episode. And like you were saying with season one, it wasn't something I was like on the edge of my seat excited to watch, but
Yeah.
when it released, I was excited to watch it. Like I did me like, oh, I have a What If episode that came out today. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. There were some good episodes in season one. I liked the zombie one, and I liked the Supreme Strangers
Yeah.
episode. So I'm excited to see where we go with this season.
I also want to say I really enjoy the animation. That's something that was
Yeah.
definitely a big divider in terms of was it a good series or wasn't it? It was literally the animation style, and it's so good. I really like it. I'm glad it's back again. Even after all of the shit that it got in season one. But something that I think would be really cool is how they do like visions, where it's like every episode is a different animation style. I think
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool for something for Marvel to
especially
implement
yeah.
something like that.
I like that idea a
Yeah.
lot, especially because we're dealing with the multiverse too. So you could kind of
Yeah,
do this
yeah,
like this is the way of how every universe is different. Like that'd be
yeah,
really cool
Yeah.
for
yeah. I would like
sure.
that a lot. But that's not the only trailer we got. We also got a Madam Web trailer, which
Mm.
it is what it is. There's things around the Sony Spider Verse that we just try not to touch. But I'm not sure
Yeah.
who's talking about. Am I talking about Madam Web?
I think I am.
Okay, yeah, I'll pass it to you, CJ.
Well, when you're watching the Madam Web trailer, I want you to think about one thing. That is the man who was in the Amazon with your mom researching spiders right before he died. Very, very important, guys. You gotta remember that.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
this movie looks like a movie from Sony. Like that's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
Like it definitely because listen, if there's anyone who's gonna defend Sony's movies, it is me and Layla till the day we die.
Yeah.
Morbius is fire. The Venom movies are heat. Y'all can hate.
Yeah.
Jaden, you can hate.
I enjoy the Venom movies, but Morbius absolutely not.
Mobius is great.
Watch it the right way. But
Oh yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
this movie I think does have potential. I think it looks better than Craven, for sure. Just like when you're dealing with Spider-Verse characters, I feel like you have so much you can do. And this trailer did look lackluster. Yes, 100% I agree. But I'm still holding out naive hope that they are just hiding the bigger elements of the film for the next trailer or until the movie drops. I think there are some things about this movie that could have been cool. I know that Adam Scott has been rumored for a while to be playing Uncle Ben. If that turns out to be true, that would be really, really cool. And they didn't really tell us why this conflict exists with this Spider-Man figure that's evil that we got. It just kind of seems like it's there. The only kind of explanation we got is that he was the man in the Amazon with your mom researching spiders right before she died. So I don't know what his conflict is, but what do you guys think about the movie as a whole?
Go ahead, Layla.
Um, I'll watch it. I'll be there. I'll be seated opening day in the same state I was for Morbius. I don't know shit about Madam Web. I don't know anything about any of these characters, to be honest. Obviously we all know Spider-Man, woohoo. But I have no idea where this film is gonna go. I have no idea what the plot is, apart from that there's some dude in the Amazon with someone's mum researching spiders before she dies. Like, I don't know what to expect from this film, but I'll be seated and I'll enjoy it and I will review it and I will be very happy about watching it.
Also, Sydney Sweeney is in this movie as well. So
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
The only
That's
reason
why
I'll
I'm
actually
watching.
be seated.
I think having Spider Women is cool. Like I
Oh yeah,
really like that
absolutely.
they're introducing all these characters, but it's like you're gonna introduce three different Spider Women. Make like a Spider Woman movie. Don't do
Right.
Madam
Yeah.
Web. Like, because also the way they're doing Madam Web is so different from Madam Web in the comics. I
Right.
believe I don't know for sure because I've never read Madam Web, but I think she like can see throughout the Spider Verse. I don't think it's really like a time travel type or time see the future type thing. So it's different, and I get it. You want Madam Web to be hot, which valid. Dakota Johnson, icon. But I'm very excited. I'm very intrigued, more than excited, to see what they're gonna do with the Spider Woman and Madam Web. I'm very curious.
Was Madam Web a villain in the comics? Do you know?
I'm not completely sure. I don't know if she was like worst of the worst. I don't know if she's necessarily a hero though either. She could have
Yeah.
definitely been just like a walk the middle line type person, but I'm not completely sure.
And I think that was another thing that kind of just bugs me about Sony, and I'm sure it bugs a lot of people. And I was actually having this conversation with Gabrielle not too long ago, where it's like, why are we making all these villains like anti-heroes? Why can't we just keep them as villains or have like a villain origin story instead of having them be anti? Because then, like, if you set them up to be anti-heroes, they're almost never gonna come in contact with Spider-Man and like fight him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's no. So now they're just kind of putting themselves in the shitter, and it's like they're just a lost cause. I feel like
I
at
think
this
the
point.
only person the anti-hero has worked for has been this guy. And I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
because of Tom Hardy. I think
yeah,
Tom Hardy makes Venom likable. And this is just like a because they're still gonna do the Venom evil, like they tease that in No Way Home. So I think
Mm.
having an alternative where Venom's kind of like a good guy is really fun. I think Tom Hardy fits that well. But like I agree with you for like Craven
right,
to be a
right.
hero. Morbius doesn't need to be a hero, even though he is my hero.
He's
Um,
mine too.
and about like Madam Web, I don't know much about her, but like I'm intrigued to see. I would kind of would like to learn a little bit more before I go and see the movie. But I agree with you, Jaden. Not all these villains need to be anti-heroes.
Right.
Well, if that wraps up the Madam Web trailer discussion,
Yeah.
no more men in the Amazon will be with your moms, um, researching spiders right before they die. We can
Yeah.
jump into what was a really fun movie that released a couple, I think, just a week ago from day of
Yeah.
recording. It is The Marvels. Jaden, take us away.
I said this in my official review on my YouTube channel, but this movie is like every single reason why there needs to be A, more female team ups, and B, more female lead roles in the MCU, and honestly just in film in general, but in the MCU especially because they kicked so much ass. I love this movie so much. I was probably someone that loved it a lot more than anybody else did. But it was so much fun. With Kamala Khan, especially, she was probably the star of the show for me, as I kind of assumed that she would be after watching Miss Marvel and everything like that. But she was so good in this. I loved the chemistry between everybody. I thought the villain was pretty cool, Darben. She was, I think she's also Tom Hiddleston's wife,
Yeah,
fiance,
Yeah.
one of the two.
Yahweh
She
Aston.
That debut absolutely knocked it out of the park. And this was fun. This was a lot of freaking fun, and it has even bigger implications for the MCU moving forward than I feel like Loki might have had. And
Yeah,
so we'll
Mhm.
get into that. We'll
100%.
definitely get into that. But CJ, I'll pass it to you. What did you think of the movie?
I really loved it. I'm kind of with you. I kind of went into this movie just expecting it to be a silly, fun time, but it actually turned out to be massive for the future of the MCU in ways I wasn't really expecting. But I really loved it. The chemistry that Brie Larson, Tiana Paris, and Iman Vellani had was amazing. The first 20 minutes of that film where they're all meeting each other is very, very fun. One of the more fun sequences we've had in the MCU in a long time. And I just want to shout out Aman Vellani. Kamala Khan has been low-key probably the MVP of Phase 5 so far. Miss
Yes.
Yeah.
Marvel
Hands
ruled,
down.
and she was easily my favorite part of this movie. Her and her family were fantastic. Her relationship with her mom continues to be one of my favorite things in the MCU. It's just fantastic. Also, let's get a round of applause for the Nick Fury redemption arc, because after Secret Invasion, I was done. I was done with that man.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
then in this
Yes.
movie, he was awesome. When they were crashing down to Earth and he was like, "Are you praying?" And he's like, "No, keep doing it.
Keep that
Amen."
shit going.
The funniest shit
Amen.
ever.
Dude, this was the
I
most
crying.
Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury we ever
Yeah,
got.
Yeah.
So good.
agreed.
So
And
good.
it was probably honestly this might besides Winter Soldier, this is probably my favorite Nick Fury movie. Absolutely,
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
ruled, and just like the sequence with the cats, it's just like in the musical planet. Like this movie had everything silly you could possibly want. I loved it so much.
Layla, what did you
Yeah,
think?
I'm such a big The Marvels defender. The funniest fucking thing about this film is that Secret Invasion means nothing. Like, you do
Good.
not need to watch
Thank
that
God.
shit. It literally means nothing. That's just hilarious to me. I love this film so much. Brie Larson, Tiana Paris, and Amanda Vellani are three of my favorite people on this planet from now on. Oh my god, Amanda Vellani is just the best person on planet Earth. I think I love her. She's just so iconic, and she's just like one of us, one of us, one of us. Like, she understands the MCU to such a degree that she can really bring that into her character, Kamala, but also just bring her energy to Kamala. Kamala is one of the funniest, nicest characters that we've seen on our screens in a long time, and one of the most enjoyable to watch. The thing that pisses me off is how much negativity has come out about this film, because it was genuinely so great. It was the most fun I've had watching a Marvel movie probably since Thor Ragnarok. And Thor Ragnarok is a really funny movie, but the Marvels just really beat that for me. I had such a great time. I've only seen it once. I can't wait to rewatch it. Yeah, just my favorite scene was them three. Full spoilers, by the way. We're gonna get into spoilers now for the Marvels if we haven't already given that warning. My favorite scene, without a doubt, was them three testing their switching when they've already met each other. They're on the ship, and they just like I can't even like talk about the chemistry between the three of them. It's just phenomenal. One of the best team ups I've seen on the screen for a long time. I am just in love with this film.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, this movie, along with how just fun and silly and amazing that it was, it actually had some pretty major implications for the MCU. And I'll start with the Bengals being like these cross-dimensional items.
Quantum bands.
Quantum bands, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
These quantum bands that actually can help or helped the Kree ancestors navigate the universe, but if used together can help create rifts in different realities, which is something that we saw towards the end of the movie with Monica Rambeau kind of flying through this rift to close it so that there was no incursion event. I'm assuming that's what she was trying to stop there.
100%. Yeah.
And so now she's in a different reality, which I guess we'll just get into it now. This is the post-credit scene where she wakes up in a hospital room with her mom right next to her, who I actually learned through CJ that the character there is supposed to be binary, which is a fairly newer character in the comics, is meant to be like, I'm assuming, the Captain Marvel of that universe. And also the big dude in the lab coat, he's Blue the Beast. Freaking X-Men. That's the first X-Men we actually have in the MCU. Fucking the gates are open. This right here is a field day.
Multiverse of Madness, we got
Charles
Xavier.
that's valid.
I forgot
about
that too.
Yes, I did too.
Everyone forgot about that.
But technically, he's like an Illuminati member. I'm thinking like straight up X-Men. You know what I'm saying?
And we got the door.
Right?
The door,
yeah. The door, the freaking door. Yeah, but this was so sick. I literally when this post credit scene flooded my eyeballs, we were just getting crazy. It was so much fun. Yeah, no, we were getting crazy in the theater. But Layla, what did you think of the post credit scene, and what do you feel about the X-Men kind of making their big big entrance here?
You know, I really don't know that much about the X-Men. I know bits and pieces, but they're not really a story that I've followed and really been that invested with. But fuck me, bringing them into this film out of everyone you could have picked is just incredible, and the way they did it, like, oh my god, was it Monica thinking she saw her mum again was one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen in
Heartbreaking,
my
yeah.
entire fucking life. And her just being like, "Sorry, who are you?" Like, I was just like bawling to my sister, and I was like, and then I saw this blue flash across the back of the screen. I was like, "There's no way they just did that. There's no way they are doing this to me right now." It means so much. Like, there's so many possibilities now. Like, they could pop up anywhere. Like, they could, in any future project, if they mention a different universe, they could just pan to the X-Men. We don't know what's gonna happen now. We don't know when the fuck they're gonna be introduced properly. All of them. Oh, and the name dropping Charles, I was just like, oh my god, like, what is going on? But yeah, I lost my shit. But I think something else we really need to talk about is Kate fucking Bishop. Kate
Yup.
Bishop was in the Marvels. Oh my god. What was your guys' reaction when you first saw Kate? Because I fucking
I
died.
Okay, so going into the movie, I knew about Beast because I got it spoiled on TikTok, but I
Uh-huh.
had no clue about Kate Bishop. That was a complete surprise to me. So when they were in Louisiana and they were moving Carol into the home, and then they panned back to New York, I was like, holy shit. And then you see the bow
Mm-hmm.
pop up, and then you see Lucky, and you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down. And I just got hyped. And shout out to Damon, because when I saw that bow, he was the first person I thought of. I was
Me
like,
too.
he's losing his shit right now, and I'm so happy for him. But it was a really good surprise. And just like the X-Men stuff, this movie opens so many possibilities. And I actually want to go back to the riff for 1 second, because I think the point that you brought up about the incursions is so interesting with the quantum bands. Because if Monica didn't close that, there would have been an incursion between the X-Men universe and the 616 universe, which makes me think if there's gonna be an incursion, they're probably right next to each other. That
Mhm.
rift open to them,
Yeah.
so that could be the first incursion, meaning he's coming. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. But also, I think the power that Monica can prevent incursions kind of that way is also something that is going to be huge going forward. And I think in this movie, they made Tiana Paris such an important player going forward, especially by vaulting her being the only 616 figure in the X-Men universe. She's going to be the one that has to try and bridge that gap. She's
Mm.
probably a top 6 player in the MCU right now. Like, they've really projected her to that major role. Like, she is a prominent figure now, and I'm so happy for Tiana Paris. She's excellent. She's beautiful. She's iconic. She's everything you could want as a superhero, and I cannot wait to see more of her. She is fantastic as Monica, and this movie just ruled.
I also want to mention, I don't think anybody here mentioned it yet, with Beast being played by the original
Yeah.
actor who played the Beast in the original X-Men movies, this could
Aw.
potentially mean that the X-Men universe that she did go into is the Fox universe X-Men, which will bridge the gap, like CJ said, in Deadpool 3 with,
Mm.
kind of bringing them into the MCU and having that whole thing happen. Um, but yeah, that this is going to be a crazy moving forward. And kind of mentioning with the Kate Bishop thing, we got to talk about the Young Avengers
Yeah.
because if she's reaching out to Kate Bishop and potentially reaching out to Stature, aka Cassie Lang, she mentioned having other feelers out there. So I mean, obviously we know some other young heroes in the making that are in the MCU. But Layla, I'll pass it to you. What are some of the characters, the younger characters that we've seen in the MCU so far that you would love to see on the team?
Well, I know I could definitely live without Cassie Lang, no offense. Which when they brought up,
Mhm.
Scott Lang has a daughter, I was like, fuck's sake, here we go.
Unfortunately, I
Um,
do.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I do.
Unfortunately, we all know Scott Lang has a daughter. Thank you so much for bringing
Don't
that up. Um,
don't be a dick.
Right. Yeah.
don't guys, look, if we're gonna be a team, we can't be dicks, okay? Like, come on. Going back to your question, I think obviously Wiccan is in the cards,
Joe
definitely.
Locke.
Um,
Yes.
Yes, I would die seeing like Joe Locke, Amanda Villani, and Haley Steinfeld on a screen together. Like that
Oh,
would just like end me.
Yeah.
I don't know, why can't I really think of I mean I've
America
seen like
Chavez.
edits.
America Chavez, yeah.
America, yeah,
It's
America for
Sochi in
sure. But
there. Yeah.
I've seen people bring up the kid from Iron Man 3, Harley. I feel like that would just be underwhelming. No
I
offense
feel
to
like
the
I would
kid.
almost rather have Ironheart in there. Get
Yeah.
Riri
Yeah.
Williams
Riri,
instead. That would be
Riri is
Linktree.
cool.
another one. Yes, that's who I was thinking of. The kid from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What's his name?
Scar.
I can't
Think
remember his.
yeah, no.
No,
No. If we're gonna do a Hulk and the Young Avengers, let's just go ahead and do what we already know we're gonna do. Let's call Kit Connor up. Let's get Kit Connor on the phone. Let's cast him as Hulkling,
yes.
and let's bring him in so I can get Joe Locke and Kit Connor together on screen
Oh
again
my
as
god.
Wiccan and Hulkling because everyone needs
Actually
that.
would be fire ass casting.
And make them
And
kids.
he's perfect for it. He's
Yeah, yeah,
perfect
yeah.
for it.
That would be really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
That'd be
that's
pretty
gonna
cool.
wrap up our the Marvels talk. If you guys have anything left to say.
Go watch the
Please
movie.
go
It's
watch
But
it.
yeah,
fantastic.
go watch the freaking movie. Please bypass anything that anybody else is saying, even us. Just go see the movie and form your own opinion
Yeah.
about it, please. But I'm gonna pass it over to CJ, who will conclude the episode.
Yeah. Thanks for returning to school with Fandom Academy with us. We are so excited to be back. We'll have new episodes hopefully every Tuesday. We're going to try and keep that schedule going. I'm very excited that we're back. We have a lot of stuff coming in the next few months that's going to be really, really fun to talk about, including the giveaway, which if you miss a code word, you can go back and find it. And remember to DM us on anywhere you can to enter the giveaway to win one of our beautiful Taylor Swift The Eras Tour posters. And we'll be doing more giveaways here and now. So check out our TikTok, our Instagram, our Twitter, anywhere you can find us, YouTube, to follow up on those giveaways. And just follow us on those places anyway, because we're awesome. Make sure you check us
It's
out
true.
on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Give us a like, give us a review. A little 5-star review never hurt anyone. Make sure you check out our website. We are all, I think, starting to get back into the swing of writing a little bit, maybe. So we might have some articles come out of there. We'll definitely plug them if we do. And yeah, Layla, Jaden, where can the people find you?
You can find me anywhere at Falcons Nat. I've been a bit dead on everything recently because I became a mother. I now have a little puppy whose name is Pedro, and he is the best thing in my life. I love him so much, but he has kept me very busy. But now that he's a little bit more used to the house, I'm going to be getting back into a lot of things. And Fandom Academy is just my favorite thing in the world. I'm so glad we're back. I've missed our weekly recordings. And yeah, there's definitely a lot in store for us in the next few months for sure. And yeah, just check out all of our episodes and find us on all social medias.
Drop the honeymoon shoot, the honeymoon photo shoot.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
You guys can find me on all socials at jaden.cmduran. I am actually becoming more active on my socials, posting TikToks and Reels, and posting on my YouTube channel now, reviews and reactions and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm so excited that we were able to make this work and kind of come back on the Fandom Academy. This has been so much fun, and I'm thankful to all of you guys listening and for returning and for not giving up on us. So yes, it's been good. Definitely check out our socials. Excited for what's to come.
Absolutely. You can find me anywhere, CJ_. I've been pumping a lot of TikToks out for Agents of Fandom 2. So if you want to go check those out, give those a likes. We got some Big Brother ones up there, some Loki, some Miss Marvel, all over the place. We got some good stuff. And yeah, thanks for sticking with us through our summer vacation. We'll call it that. And school's back in session. So make sure you are back here, same place, same time next Tuesday. From everyone here at Fandom Academy, we love you. Peace.
You can also find us in the Amazon with your mom, right, researching spiders before she's about to die.